about it. I don't know, just I was thinking of like when you look inside and it's like a self-criticism, you know, and sometimes it makes you grow and sometimes puts you down. And like we should look inside and see what we want to do better and what we did not good.
Yeah.
And sometimes, it makes us grow, and sometimes it's just becomes like criticism, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
Like I don't know, I was just,
Yeah.
it was an idea.
No, it's a whole attitude to yourself.
Yeah.
Which is really good. It's good with it to see it because it's not good in itself. No, you know, attitudes in general are there because they are serving a purpose until we don't need them anymore, and then they often tend to hang around. So it's a good side. That's a good kind of. It's good when you see it because then it's like you can check it. Is this like reality? You know, that I'm able to be criticized at all? You know, is anything to condemn, or is it an attitude? Okay, so this is really interesting. Because when we move, we look inside ourselves. You know, there is the self, you, and there's you, the other you, which is looking inside yourself. And there's two yous. So many teachings seem to suggest that the impure sides are in this thing, that this one is coming and looking, and it finds all kinds of crap here and here and here, like, and then this one fails to get in to this one. That's a little bit how it works, but it's really not in the depth how it's working. At the depth, much more how it's working is that this one who is going in to look is carrying with it, on it, this consciousness that's going like this to look at itself, at yourself, is carrying on it kind of attitudes. They're glued to it. And so, in many different ways, it can be subtle or it can be kind of very strong, especially in a meditation. As it moves, for example, into an empty space, what it sees is its own shit that's stuck to it. It sees its attitude. But it doesn't see it in the first instance as a part of itself, this one that's looking. It sees it as a projection. Not good enough. Not okay. And then it can feel like this meditation it actually is bringing me to a bad place. Because now I'm really feeling like I'm not okay. Because you project into the inner world a whole attitude of not okay. This one, in meditation, that comes around and looks inside when we look at ourselves, and not even in meditation, like, take a look at yourself, you know, like, you know, it's like, was it? You know? So this movement, it's a whole movement, which involves two. So we have to choose one. There's a split. You're here, the self, the object. Sometimes it's the object, sometimes it's the subject. And you're here looking. And this could also be the subject or the object. In a way, both are both. But we need to choose one. Because whatever at the source of this is at the source of that that's looking also. Because we're talking about consciousness. So how do we choose one? You know, how do you look at yourself without looking at yourself? This is hard, you know, it's like to avoid that movement of this one coming and just to be this one that's waiting to be looked at, that's there anyway, whether or not this one comes and has a look. That's one possibility. But that's kind of a master level. You know what I mean? To be free of this snake that comes, splits off from the source of whatever we are and looks at ourselves through back again to connect to the source of what we are. This is almost compulsively coded, it's almost in the mind. This movement of split and reflect, look at myself. So a really good movement in meditation is to go with this one that's doing the looking, the searcher, the seeker. Because it's more pure. It detaches itself from the body of everything that's you, the feelings, the emotions, the mind and everything, and it comes around like a satellite. So it's got, even though it's less, if there is such a thing as less, it's more pure. It's here where the attitudes are, but it's not necessarily here. The thoughts might follow it, and the feelings might follow it. But in the first looking, all you've got is the attitudes and the consciousness, which is really worthwhile. So we're moving around like this, zhumfa, with the attitudes, like one of those games as a kid, that projects on. So you're moving around like this, and what we don't want is to project those attitudes and believe in them on this apparent one that's here. We don't want the projection show. We don't want that movie. We want to get behind it, behind the projector. So this is the meditation. And we're going to do it quite deliberately. So in the first instance, to connect to the ID and to allow the whole light to come down, to put light on the ID and to let light come down and let the light do whatever it wants. And now comes the critical point. We're going to move to the heart chakra and see what's going on there. Okay. This is the classical healing principle one. Here he comes, woomfa, we've got the light, okay, yeah. Now we're going to move to the heart chakra. Very few people will move to the heart chakra from the inside out, from behind the heart chakra and move like this. The way we're programmed, and it's really habitual. I still do it. This is up-to-date stuff, is to move like this with our consciousness and to begin, hello, see what's happening there. Almost as if we're really a dense object, and as if we're not on the other side waiting to kind of come on. So this one that moves, as it moves, we're going to hold it and stop. It's on its way to the heart chakra, that's what we've been told, but we're going to stop and we're going to look at it. We're going to become it. Try and become it as fully as possible. We're going to give it its own medicine. So this one is seeking. So who is seeking? Who is this one? So it's almost like a snake, and it's the head. So we're going to totally allow ourselves to become this snake and to see what's behind the search there. What's behind it? Who is this one that's coming? How does it feel to be that completely? To release completely the object of the thing that it's, so the heart chakra, everything, let it all go, and to be the snake, and to see what happens next. To be conscious of the consciousness in that one. Now in becoming consciousness of the consciousness of this, here I am coming towards me, and now I'm going to look at myself, look back, what's this? What's this consciousness coming towards? So in that, we're also seeing it from somewhere else, the whole movement. So we can see what that happens, where it takes us. Where it takes us in the kind of miracle of what's conscious, what's this consciousness, what's control, what's happening. After one layer of doing that and seeing what happens, at a certain stage, sit, really just let everything go, sit in the body. Breathe. Feel the feet on the ground. And wait. And probably it's going to happen again by itself. Because this is what tends to happen when we sit in the body. Whoop, here comes another one. And so we're going to do a little bit of snake chasing. But don't make it happen. If it dissolves into a place of something else, let it. And but don't hold on to that either. This is a really good method to kind of teach the nervous system. It's really the nervous system, because this movement is about control and fear in a way. To teach the nervous system that it's really okay. You actually exist beyond that need to inquire. It's really a good practice, because the searching, the inquiry, it doesn't matter if it's to God or to the world or inside ourselves. The searching in itself, each moment of searching is giving birth to another moment of searching. And it's all built really like, you're in a hunt in that moment. The next moment will also be a hunt. It will also be a hunt. And we're searching towards something which is in the whole configuration of time and space. It's destiny, we're going to get there, we're going to arrive. And what's more interesting is what's driving the search. What's behind the search? Why do you need anything? Why do we need to search? And what's there is a space where we've kind of abandoned ourselves. This kind of sense of lack, the sense of not enough, the sense of incompletion, the sense of not good enough. The inner critic is one of the faces of that sense of lack. And there's no way that the searching can get us anywhere when it's driven by a sense of lack, and the sense of lack is driven by the fact that we're not there. We have to go there, into that. Lack can only be filled by our being there. And so it's a whole kind of moving the classical movement around to the other direction in a way, but it's fun, it's interesting, it's curious. And our biochemistry and our nerve system is really trained to keep searching, and consciousness is really trained to search. When consciousness no longer needs to search, it tends to surrender. But you're still here. So being becomes forward more strongly, awareness. Awareness also can surrender. We don't need, it can't be held onto. It's not an end point. If it was an end point, it would exclude consciousness, and consciousness also needs to be free. It all needs to be free in a way. But we need to train the very kind of patterns, the neural programs of our mind to allow this other direction, this other movement. And that's not a small thing, because those patterns are supported by the whole nervous system. If we're not in control, then we're helpless. If we're helpless, then we can get hurt, which means we can get killed. This is like a basic instinctive response of the nervous system. And it doesn't mean we're not good enough or anything else. It just means that our nerve system is healthy, that when we're out of control, that it begins to kvetch. But like a rat in a cage that gets the electric shock when it eats the cheese, the nerve system can be trained to see this as an opportunity for rest and peace and rejuvenation, which doesn't involve going to sleep. So it's really kind of a really worthwhile exercise. I'm so glad you brought this one.